I really wanted to love the new Asics Gel Resolution 10, but 10 minutes into my first hit, I knew something was off. The entry was weird, it felt unbalanced, there was odd spacing in the forefoot, and the heel slippage was much more than I had anticipated, especially for a shoe with a very high medial wall. But instead of giving up on these after a few hits, I tried 3 small fixes and it completely changed the fit, feel, and performance of the shoe. So if you've already got these and feeling kind of stuck with them, or if you're thinking about buying them, but all the reviews have you second guessing, let me show you exactly what I did to fix the fit and feel, and stick around because at the end, I'll break down why tennis shoes like this are getting heavier in general and where the whole industry is headed next. All right, let me show you exactly what I changed, because none of this requires special tools or cutting up your shoes. It's just small, smart adjustments that make these shoes work better for your feet. The first issue was the ankle collar. It felt too big and loose and too small and uncontaining at the same time, like it wasn't built for the anatomy of an actual ankle. So I took some adhesive felt padding of various thicknesses and made a rectangular collar pad to put inside the ankle collar, running in the same diagonal direction as the opening. Now for my foot, I needed the thicker adhesive felt. For your foot, you might not. I gotta say, as soon as I put this in the shoe, the heel slippage stopped. One word of warning though, if you don't heat up the adhesive at all before you put it in, usually you can just take a hairdryer and heat it up, and you just peel it and stick it, it's not gonna be as adherent to the shoe, which isn't a big deal. I mean, I just put pads in a lot of my shoes and I just don't worry about it. If you're gonna do that though, just make sure to loosen up all the laces in the shoe so you have adequate entry. If you just try to get in, if you're impatient, you try to shove your foot in there, you may start to peel the adhesive off and you gotta put it back in. It's kind of awkward. These aren't gonna last the life of the shoe anyway. You're probably gonna have to, put a few of these in over the lifetime of the shoe. But if you wanna make it last longer, just put the hairdryer on a little bit, activate the glue, or just don't be impatient and loosen up the laces and get a nice entry into there. That way you're not kind of peeling the adhesive off the shoe. So secondly is the forefoot. This just felt a little bit flat, like it was kind of collapsing behind my first metatarsal head or ball of my foot. So I built up that medial spot with a small wrench-shaped foam pad. It gave me just enough buttressing of the medial side to make the forefoot move one-to-one with me, and therefore it just felt a little bit more sculpted around my foot, and it didn't feel like the shoe was kind of compressing on me. So really what that pad's doing is just taking up the negative space so the shoe doesn't feel as kind of bulbous in the forefoot. This gives you much better contact with the shoe, kind of like the heel counter and an ankle collar fix. It just makes it function more one-to-one. And lastly, the laces. These stock ones were thin and flexible, and for a shoe this substantial, you just need laces to match. I swapped in thicker laces so I could actually get a secure lockdown without cutting off my circulation, and just with these in there, the shoe just felt much more complete. Now, these are the exact kind of low-cost, high-impact customizations I teach in my shoe and orthotic customization ebook for athletes. It's packed with fixes just like this for different foot types, shoe issues, and movement needs, as well as a guide to taping, especially if you're trying to maximize performance shoes for tennis, pickle, hoops, and volleyball. So if you want to squeeze more performance out of your shoes without wrecking them, check it out. It is linked down below. But let's talk about the, I guess, literal elephant in the room, and that is the weight. Now, while these fixes make this shoe move with your foot better and make them feel lighter, they still are the weight that they are. And yeah, they're heavy. But here's the thing, this is not just an oversight from Asics, or let's say K-Swiss with the Ultra Shot. This is where the entire tennis shoe industry is headed. And I have heard it directly from multiple companies independent of each other. Players overwhelmingly are prioritizing comfort and durability. Speed and nimble movement don't hold a candle to the volume of feedback these brands are getting, wanting more cushion and more miles on the shoe. And in terms of the Gel Res 10, and let's say Ultra Shot 4 too, specifically where the weight is in the shoe, I think it's doing something really good. I'd take the trade-off. The rubber is super durable, right? And it's got a tremendous grip. The midsole on these is one of the most comfortable I've ever put on. So I mean, in terms of, gaining a little bit extra weight for that, plus I mean the PU uppers, the fact that you can just, that these are some of the most durable shoes on the market. Honestly, as long as you customize these up to where they're moving with your foot fine, to me, that takes these up to a, just as elite of a shoe as the Gel Res 9 is. If you like the lower cut feel of the Gel Res 9, you're not gonna get that with more of a high mid top. But in terms of me, in terms of a shoe that is the weight that this is, I think getting this just to move more one-to-one with your foot, stopping the heel slippage, and I can use the tools in the shoe and the benefits of that weight much more come to the surface. But getting back to how this all affects you, if this is where the tennis shoe industry is headed, you got two options: adapt or customize. Whatever route you choose, don't worry, I'll be around to help you. And speaking of, if you want to rid yourself of some pervasive industry lies about mid tops and high tops, check this video out up above and make sure you subscribe down below. I'll see you in that video.